Is Bitcoin going to 200K by Christmas? And will the September 17th Fed meeting be the turning point for crypto? Plus, Ondo is quickly rising as the top RWA platform for stocks, but can it reach this one analyst target of $30? This is your Altcoin Buzz News. Hey, what's up everyone? My name is Cody, and if you're new here, make sure to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you know when I drop latest content. Follow us on Twitter, altcoinbuzz.io, and as always, is not financial advice, and we wish the best of luck in your crypto ventures. Also, make sure to join us for our X Spaces Tuesday to Friday at our new time, 9 a.m. EST, link down below. All right, good morning, you guys. Today is the first day of the start of this, macroeconomic season we have going on here, where we have the core PPI coming out today. We have the CPI coming out tomorrow. And then next week, we have the Fed's fund rate on the 17th, where there is prediction that we will have a 25 basis point rate cut as the base case, the bare minimum. There is a potential for 50 basis points, but we are just hoping for at least the 25 basis points today. So starting off, Bitcoin is looking pretty good here. It's actually just slowly creeping up. It's not showing a ton of strength compared to gold, especially, which is breaking new all-time highs every day. But it is, it's not breaking down. So we're going to see what happens with the news today. If there's, bad news and then it goes into New York Open and we sell off, that is a possibility. But what I would like to see is, like I was saying yesterday, I'd like to come up above here, above towards $114,000, reclaim this level, and then I'll know we have some strength. And we are now putting in an uptrend on Bitcoin's daily chart. And so starting off, we have CryptoRS saying the next Bitcoin catalyst, liquidity. The BRICS M2 just topped $53 trillion, and Bitcoin has risen alongside it, with Brazil pushing a $19 billion Bitcoin reserve and China weighing a digital yuan stablecoin. The runway for Bitcoin looks wide open. We also have a reminder that the U.S. non-farm payroll annual revisions are today. Why this matters for crypto: if the past job growth was overstated, the Fed may have been too tight for too long, equals faster rate cuts. If job growth was understated, policy stays tight and it's a risk off. So there's volatility ahead today for sure. And then another interesting piece that came out yesterday, we have Putin's advisor says the U.S. has devised a crypto scheme to raise its massive debt at the world's expense. He said the U.S. is now trying to rewrite the rules of the gold and cryptocurrency markets. Remember the size of their debt, $35 trillion. These two sectors, crypto and gold, are essentially alternatives to the traditional global currency system. Washington's actions in this area clearly highlight one of its main goals: to urgently address the declining trust in the U.S. dollar. As in the 1930s and the 1970s, the U.S. plans to solve its financial problems at the world's expense, this time by pushing everyone into the crypto cloud. Over time, once part of the U.S. national debt is placed into stablecoins, Washington will devalue that debt. Put simply, they have a $35 trillion currency debt, and they'll move it into the crypto cloud, devalue, and start from scratch. That's the reality for those who are enthusiastic about crypto. So it's just an interesting point. This was going around yesterday. And it's also interesting because he's saying this is, for those who are enthusiastic about crypto. But also at the same time, if this were, true and this were to happen, it would only mean that crypto go up because the dollar is being devalued as well. So that's part of the reason why we get into different assets is, the devaluing of a lot of different currencies and like the US dollar around the world. And so that's why people buy gold. That's why they buy crypto in the hopes that it goes up against the, inflation and the money printing. Now, we also have fund strategist Tom Lee on CNBC saying Bitcoin can easily get to $200,000 before the year's end. So he said this.
Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies like Ethereum are super sensitive to monetary policy. So I think that September 17th is an important catalyst. Crypto typically does really well in the fourth quarter. So I think Bitcoin can easily get to 200,000 before year end. I know it's a big move. It's almost a double. But that's also going to be a
double from here. Let's just hold on. Let's just take a quick pause. A double from here. So everybody's listening to this. We're at $111,000, and you think by Christmas time, effectively, we could be at 200,000?
That's right. One of the reasons Bitcoin stalled this year is the Fed's been on pause for 9 months. That pause all year, if you look at an easing cycle, that's only happened 2 other times, in 1998 and 2024, where the Fed began to resume cuts in the fourth quarter in September. Equities do really well. As you know, crypto is beta to equity. So I think it's going to be a very strong fourth quarter. Small caps should also rally, like IWM, but that also is really bullish for Ethereum, which is highly linked to small caps.
And a quick shout out to Surge. It's this risk-free prediction game on Telegram where you just swipe to guess pump or dump, you earn rewards, and you pick up some market skills while you're at it. They've also kicked off a daily giveaway. It's super simple. Every day there's a coin of the day, and today it's XRP. All you have to do is find on the Surge app, screenshot it, and then drop that screenshot under this tweet. One random reply wins $10 each day in USDT. It's super simple. So check out Surge, have some fun swiping, and maybe snag some prizes along the way. And also check out Mike from Fungible Games' full game review of Surge as well, link down below. And then moving on to Solana, which has been slowly creeping up, we have whales are accumulating Solana. In the past 24 hours, two wallets withdrew 376,000 Solana worth $80.7 million from Binance and deposited it into Camino. We also have Milk Road saying Solana hit 100 billion faster than Google or Apple. For Solana, it took 4.5 years, Google 7 years, and Apple 30 years. Decades of growth packed into one cycle. Then we also have Solana Daily saying Solana has generated 1.25 billion in year-to-date revenue, nearly 2.5x the Ethereum's 523 million. We also have Solana Flora saying, according to Blockworks, Kyle Samani will become a chairman of a new Solana treasury company backed by Multicoin, Galaxy, and Jump, which is aiming to raise $1 billion. So more treasury companies coming to the NASDAQ. And then we also have this one actually as well. Sol Strategies, which is a Canadian company, says they just got Sol Strategies approved for NASDAQ Exchange Global Select Market, listing under the ticker STKE, and trading will commence on Tuesday, September 9th, which is today. The CEO, Leo Wald, noted, this represents more than just an achievement for Sol Strategies, it's validation for the entire Solana ecosystem. What this means for Sol Strategies, it's unlocking institutional partnerships to accelerate validator growth, scaling operations to meet surging Solana staking demand, and leading the charge as the premier institutional bridge to Solana. So this Canadian company, which was previously only listed in Canada, is now listed in the US as of today, and they're trading today, and that's bringing more Solana to institutional players. Now, Solana is actually, it's looking good, but I'm still quite fearful of this just continuous, rising up, this staircase up here. It's just been, gradually going up, and I'm just fearful that we're going to have one bad data print either today or tomorrow, and we just come down and wipe out all the stops below here before continuing up. That is still a possibility. I've seen this way too many times where, we have these, these very shallow pullbacks here where every time we pump up, we retrace and it just gets shallower and shallower like this. And then, it is possible that we do just go straight up, but a lot of times people put their stops underneath each of these lows when they are, starting to go into longs. And this has been over a period of, the past month. So there's a lot of stop losses underneath each of these. And what happens is it's a lot easier to liquidate them because they are so close. So if you take out one stop loss, it's a lot easier to push price down to take out the other stop loss, price down more like that, and then continue higher because all these stops have been taken. So that's what I'm looking out for Solana. That's why I haven't really taken any positions on it right now. And I'm just waiting because I think there is a possibility, some of these stops get taken before ultimately resolving higher. And then I'd like to see what happens after that. But I think once we get back above here too, we start closing daily candles above 218-ish. We are looking pretty good, probably going back here towards 261 pretty quickly. I think this gap here fills pretty quickly and we start going much higher. So I'm looking forward to that. I'm just also cautious of this kind of a trend line break right here. So that's Solana right now. I'm going to wait for what happens with the numbers today and tomorrow. And then moving on, we have Ondo Finance saying the Global Markets Alliance welcomes Wisdom Tree Funds. So Wisdom Tree is a global asset manager with $131 billion in assets under management, pioneering digital innovation in finance through tokenized assets and blockchain-based investment solutions. They're now joining a growing coalition of exchanges, wallets, and custodians, infrastructure providers, and asset managers, aligning on standards for how tokenized stocks and funds come on chain. Another step forward in the Alliance mission to make global markets open, programmable, and accessible. So now we have Wisdom Tree and their $131 billion fund joining Ondo and a bunch of other exchanges. We also have Wildly Bullish saying Ondo breaks TVL all-time highs again at 1.478 billion. Ondo is now the fastest growing asset by TVL and number one stock tokenization platform. And then we have Lenny, who is calling for Ondo to go to $30. So he says, most people will say this is impossible. They call it hopium. They just haven't done the math on the RWA tidal wave that's about to hit. So he says, first, the obvious catalyst, the spot ETF. This isn't just another crypto ETF. It's the official on-ramp for trillions in TradFi money that can't touch a centralized exchange. When BlackRock gives their clients a button to buy Ondo, what do you think happens? Second, the supply shock. The float on Ondo is still incredibly small and it's tightly held. So you have a fire hose of institutional demand getting ready to blast into a garden hose of available supply. Basic economics, degens. Price only has one way to go, and that's up violently. The roadmap is simple. Pre-ETF hype sends it to $5. ETF approval causes a brief sell the news dip, shakes out paper hands, and then the real rally to $15 as first inflows hit. Post-ETF, RWA becomes the 2025 narrative, and Ondo becomes a blue chip. that's when we see $35 plus. And $35 isn't even the final target. That's just what happens when Ondo is valued like the critical infrastructure it's becoming, the base layer for tokenized US debt. It's like buying ETH at $100 when you realize everything will be built on it. We're that early. I don't know what you guys think. It's currently under $1, so it's gonna take a while to go there. But Ondo is actually looking pretty good right now. I was saying this is a very similar structure to Say the other day. We were talking about Say and how it looks very similar. I like this, structure we're having where we go down and then we're accumulating sideways and then we start to go up. And we're starting to see that right now for Ondo as well, where you can definitely see it right now as we're starting to break out. But I would like to get it down here because this looks really good as we're making these, these highs and we're starting to flatten out. So we're starting to, kind of build this wedge, which we see a lot of times in TA. We have this kind of wedge like this where going sideways like that, and then eventually the wedge breaks up like that. So we're starting to see that for Ondo right now. And I do like this. If we get any kind of bad news over the next couple of days, any kind of buys towards 92 to around 89-ish cents, I like that as an area to enter because I think this probably goes towards 117 very quickly, especially if we get good news later on going into September 17th. If we get good news, this skyrockets towards 118 pretty quickly. And I think after that, we start to go back towards these highs on Bitcoin, altcoins, all that. So I really like this structure. You'll see it across multiple different altcoins right now. Whether it's Say, whether it's Ondo, you'll see this kind of, this slowing in momentum where we stop going down very harshly. We're starting to go sideways, and then eventually we're starting to pick up as well. So I do like Ondo right here. Any kind of buys between 88 and really 92, I'll be looking to enter Ondo for a long like this. And then we have Ripple saying Ripple Custody and BBVA. We're expanding our partnerships with BBVA, bringing our institutional grade digital asset custody technology to Spain. BBVA is responding to growing customer demand for crypto assets, with Ripple providing a secure and compliant custody solution. We also have XRP just got a major boost from China. Chinese fintech giant Logis is putting $1 trillion supply chain finance platform on the XRP ledger. RWAs, cross-border payments, and trade finance all on XRP ledger. And Token Terminal says Ripple's RLUSD on Ethereum reaches $650 million in supply, up 10x since January. Now, XRP also looks good, and it's that same kind of thing we were just talking about with Ondo, where it's got this kind of downtrending line right here, and it's just starting to break out. And it looks like it's breaking out right now, where you can see we have this kind of wedge forming, and we just broke out of this wedge. And so, like I was saying, maybe a week ago now, if we were to break above these highs, we create an uptrend now. And as soon as we got back above here, we just started to take off, which we're doing right now. So XRP, not a position I would enter right now, but if we somehow came back here down towards $2.84-85, this is probably a pretty good position still if you're to take this and then long back towards these $3.30 level as your first target, and then maybe new highs above 366 as a second target. But XRP looking good as well. Everything's starting to break this downtrending line we have right now. So any kind of bad news or sell-off we have in the next couple of days, you should be looking for entries on whatever your favorite altcoin is, especially if it has this kind of same structure. And then we have Zach Rhines saying, Justin, Grayscale has filed for an S1 with the U.S. SEC to launch a spot Link ETF. This filing would upgrade the existing Grayscale Chainlink Trust, G-Link, with $28 million in assets under management into an ETF. This is the second filing in recent weeks for a Link ETF, following a Bitwise S1 in August. We also have Sandra saying, here are crypto's top coins that are partially or fully associated with the Ethereum-based ecosystem by development activity. And we have Chainlink at number 1 continuously. We also have Chainlink saying, Chainlink is working with governments, central banks, and regulators to help align blockchain transactions with existing legal frameworks. We have Sergey Nazarov on how this enables the majority of the world's capital to move on chain.
We want what our industry's technology does to be compatible with the laws of every country so that the capital in that country and the assets in that country can become blockchain-based capital and blockchain-based assets. And then what we also want is an interconnected web of chains and jurisdictions where all of that capital can freely flow across borders, which will make the Web3 version of the financial system increasingly globalized, and which will require a certain set of standards for data, for identity, for cross-chain connectivity, for orchestration, and for various other key parts of the transaction. That's really what Chainlink will bring.
And Link is also starting to look really good on the high time frames as well. Same thing as pretty much all the other coins. We've been going through this kind of, this downtrend right here. We're starting to break above it. So if we get any kind of pump above here and we reclaim this level around $23.80-ish, if we claim back above this level right here, that's a great long to get back into this and head back towards these highs around $27. But I'd be probably targeting back towards $30 as my next target for Link. if we are going to go higher, especially with, Bitcoin breaking new highs and, the Fed cutting rates. So Chainlink looking good as well. I'd be watching for a break above this level here. Or if we do any more consolidation down here towards $22, I'd be looking to enter there as well. And lastly for today, we have Underdog joins Crypto.com to debut sports prediction platform. So Underdog, the fastest growing sports company in the United States, has teamed up with Crypto.com to launch sports event contracts inside the Underdog app. This partnership opens the door for fans to legally and securely make predictions on their outcomes of their favorite games while using technology backed by a federally registered exchange. Through this collaboration, customers will be able to access CDNA sports event contracts directly in the Underdog app. These contracts allow fans to express opinions on real-world sports outcomes, from NFL touchdowns to NBA playoff wins, with prices that move in real time. For sports fans, it's not just about watching the action, but trading on what they believe will happen next. And prediction markets have been gaining traction across different industries. They let people place value on their beliefs of future events, whether in politics, economics, or entertainment. Now, sports are becoming the most natural fit for this model. As Underdog CEO Jeremy Levin put it, the future of prediction markets will be about sports, and Underdog is well positioned to lead the charge. So is Crypto.com and Underdog. And that is the video for today, guys. We have a Bitcoin sitting just under $113,000. I think once we break back above this level here, we are off to the races. And if we close the daily candle above here, we are looking pretty good. But again, we're going to have to watch what happens with all the different data coming out today as well. But that is the video for today, guys. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you tomorrow.